Let's take a look at a couple of 16-cube problems. In this one, black is surrounded, has one eye already at d3, but needs to find a way to create a second eye to live with this group. Pause the video and see if you can find the correct move for black. A good thing to note first is that the f1 stone here has two ways to connect out, either connecting solidly on g1 or connecting back to d1. So it's kind of hard to cut this stone off. There is one way that looks like it almost works, which is if we cut here and white connects on d1, we could throw in on e1 and then Atari. The only problem with that is that the final Atari is self-Atari on the whole black chain, so that's not going to work. So it's actually impossible to kill this white stone. Instead, we need to let this white stone connect back and just make an eye on e2. So if we play e1, to save the stone, white has to play g1, then we can play f2 and we will be alive. Play here, white connects, we play here, and notice that white cannot play d1. The best white can do is play c1, and then we're allowed to create a secure eye here. So now both e2 and d3 are real eyes here, and black is alive. And the trap you may have fallen into is to play here. And this would have worked if black had just one extra liberty on the outside somewhere. Black could then have thrown in. Oh, actually, in this case also there's another problem, which is that this stone comes in Atari. I didn't even see that. So this one, the best case scenario would be that this is a ko, if black has liberty on the outside. But it's even worse now because this is self-Atari. So that's totally not working. e1, only way to live. Oh, here we have a very interesting shape on the outside, quite unrealistic, but black should find a way to live with this black group. We have, of course, two black stones in Atari. If we just save the stones in Atari, the problem is that white can create a bulky 5 shape by playing b3 or c3, so that's no good. White will be able to kill us. Instead, we should play b3. Then when white captures the two stones on a3, we will be able to capture back on a3, a2, and then it will be a Seki shape. So we play here, white can only capture, we take back, and now white cannot Atari on a1 or c3, since white only has two liberties. We also cannot Atari, so when white plays elsewhere, we should not try to play this move, for instance. So this means that this is a Seki. We also should watch out so we don't play a3, because at that time, white will create a bulky 5 shape and kill us. White cannot do that before we play a3, because then, if white plays here, now we have an extra eye on a3. So b3 works to live. Let's also take a look at this one. White can play either b3 or c3 to create the bulky 5 shape, play in the middle, and now the black group is dead. Let's just play it out to the end. You have something like this, and eventually these stones will be taken off the board. So the best move for black here is to create a Seki. Black does not get any points here locally. So this is not as good. If black had a different way to live while also killing the black stones, that would be even better. But in this case, this is the best black can do, so black is just happy to be alive. Okay, next one. We have an annoying white cut here in the corner. How should black handle this white cutting stone? Pause the video and try to figure it out. The white stone only has two liberties, so we can Atari it towards the side, either from a2 or b1. b1 is a bit problematic, because after b1, white can play a2, and we will not be able to approach from either a1 or a3. So that's not good. Instead, we need to play this Atari, and after white goes down here, we cannot approach a1, but we can approach c1. So this is the correct solution. Now we actually have a real eye around here, and one real eye in the corner. So white could, for instance, play Atari and here, but we're just alive here. And there's nothing happening at this point right now. Black could just capture here, for instance. It will be a little more interesting if, let's say, in the initial position, white also had a stone here. Then it's a more interesting shape, because now black could play Atari and go down. White could play a stone here. White cannot capture on d1, so black would have to capture here. Let me clarify that if black captures d1, then white captures everything. So black has to capture here. Now white can capture the 4 stones, but black can still live here. So this is a little more advanced problem where to live with the... if this liberty is taken, black can still live, but has to give up the 4 stones. But in this one, the only problem is that black has to see that this Atari is the one that's working. Because if black Atari is from this side, now neither A1 or A3 is working. Okay, hope I didn't confuse matters with that. I just thought that's another interesting Sumiko I wanted to mention. Let's go to the next one. So we're just ranked up to 15 Q, so we'll make this the last one. Can you find a way for black to live in this corner? Black can create an ice space of 4 points by playing A4, but since it's a bent 4 in the corner shape, it's a little bit defective. White can play A2 and we're in some trouble. So if we play A4, A2, the only way for black to try to live would be A1, but then it would be a ko. So black should immediately jump to the vital point at A1 instead, creating a secure eye on B1 and another secure eye on A2. We play here, we have our 2 real eyes. Let's compare. If we had played this one, white can play here, and now our only hope as black would be thrown in here, but after white captures, now we would need to find a ko threat elsewhere on the board. If we can find a threatening enough move that white responds to, then we will be able to take back, and maybe then we could live. But if white chooses to ignore our move, then the whole group would be dead. So this is worse than living outright with the A1 move. Hope you like these problems. See you in the next video.